police officers this year.
20 to 25 police officers just for this year.
Yes, sir.
Through attrition and other situations.
Well, that's to include let me
retiring stuff like that.
Attrition's one thing through retirements and things like that, but I think we've been slow to match the growth pace with the community with the department over the last several years. And we're playing catch up, but the goal. I remind my folks all the time: catching the bad guy. Going out and investigating a case and then catching a bad guy that's great. That's part of your job, but that's always second place. That is always second fiddle to preventing the crime to begin with. And to do that, the scholars out there in our profession will tell you that it's all about proactive, preventative patrols. We're kind of inverse. We need to get our numbers higher so that the officers have more time to do those. About 60% of their shift should be allocated towards those preventative, proactive patrols, and we're just not there yet. So
I tell you, very seldom. And I've been in jurisdictions where cops will sit in parking lots, stare at stop signs, hoping to write traffic tickets and everything. Very seldom, almost never, do I see a Ocala Police Department officer sitting idle. If I do, their interior lights on, and they're probably catching up with some paperwork or something.
Yeah, they're going to be writing reports on their computers and things like that. No, we stay busy. The old term "slow cala," I don't think it was ever true. It's certainly not true now. It's typically an officer coming on shift is going to start his or her shift with maybe 10 to 15 calls stacked in queue waiting to be assigned because there's not enough officers, and that's a problem. We take pride in our priority one response times, meaning lights and siren response times, typically around a minute. We can get to you in the city. It's those priority 2 and 3 calls that bother me, and it comes down to, hey, if your daughter's broke down in a rough side of town, how long is it okay for her to sit there before a cop shows up to help her, or she gets in a crash, in a bad area? How long is it okay for her to sit there? I would argue not very long, but those times are greatly elevated due to a lack of manpower. I'm sorry, politically correct, a lack of police officers out there on the street. So we're trying to correct that.
You talked about the Boys and Girls Club, and I know y'all have done a lot to help with April Savarese and the Boys and Girls Club. Right. I want to challenge you.
Okay.
January 19th. There is a fundraiser at Charlie Horse to benefit the Boys and Girls Clubs of Marion County.
Okay.
There will be a bartender doing a guest bartending with June, and all the tips that bartender makes, plus a portion of the proceeds, go to benefit the Boys and Girls Clubs of Marion County. And that said guest bartender has to be R.J. Jenkins, because R.J. Jenkins has thrown the gauntlet down that he's the best celebrity guest bartender.
Understood.
That bartender will be me, and it's January 19th. So I think that.
So you want me to encourage all the cops to come down here to the bar?
If they're off work, they should come to not to partake in any adult beverages.
Understood.
But just to drop money in the tip jar to help the Boys and Girls Club.
Understood. We'll get those dates and times worked out, and I'll take you up on that.
January 19th, 5 to 8 p.m., folks, for anybody who wants to come out.
That Boys and Girls Club is a great cause. We were just down there wrapping Christmas gifts for them kids just last week. They do a great job and provide a wonderful service.
3 different locations, too.
That's right.
They got the Shores, Dunellen, and here in Ocala. And by the way, during the pandemic, they had a rash of burglaries at the Boys and Girls Club. They had a van stolen. They had computers stolen.
Right.
They need a couple good months.
They're greatly underfunded and could use everybody's help. So yeah, for those folks listening, I'll be there on the 19th. I'm sure, supporting my friend Tom here, and would encourage everybody else out there to do.
I think that it's just a great thing Charlie Horse is doing, and WOCA is sponsoring me to be there to do it. So it's, and when they ask you what you're like last month, in the month of November, Jimmy Bohannon from Bohannon Surveying, he was the guest bartender. And they asked him what his charity was, Greg Graham Foundation.
Right.
He didn't even miss a beat.
Sure.
R.J. Jenkins, the first one, he did it 2 months ago. His was the Literacy Council.
Right,
he's the director of the Literacy Council.
Right.
When they asked me, what's your charity, without missing a beat, I said the Boys and Girls Clubs of Marion County.
Outstanding.
Because the Boys and Girls Clubs of Atlanta, Brookhaven Boys and Girls Club in Atlanta. Now, I did have some criminal issues in my background, but I'm not a criminal. I just made some dumb decisions. And that's because the Boys and Girls Club kind of swayed me from, because there was a time when I was 16. It could have went. I could have. There was some opportunities to join a gang that was in the Atlanta area, and there was some opportunities where I could have, if it had been for the Boys and Girls Club offered me sports and stuff like that, there was a chance I could have really been a hardened criminal instead of just a dumb one.
And I'm in the same boat as you, Tom. I had a rougher upbringing and high school dropout, and was getting into some trouble as well. And you had a couple of organizations that kind of, I don't know, helped me focus a little bit. And they were, it wasn't Boys and Girls Club, but similar programs. And it could be a very different. My life could have looked very different very easily.
And I think that's everybody has a story like that.
Sure, right.
And so I really thank the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Mine happen to be Boys and Girls Clubs of Brookhaven, Georgia, but the Marion County Boys and Girls Club do a great job here in the school system and with all that they offer. So I implore you, if you just feel in a giving mood, go write a check to the Boys and Girls Club.
There you go. Yeah,
it's really a really good organization. April Savarese and her staff, her understaffed is what she truly is.
You're absolutely right. They could use all the help they can get.
They do a really good job. Yep. Do you know, I just had his name in my head too. Well, I'll have to ask you that another time because his name just escaped from my head. Him and Calvin Thomas. Not Calvin Thomas, but the Thomases that run the over in Busby Homes that run the youth organization over there. I'll have to ask you about it at a later time because it just slipped. I had it in my mind and then it went away because they have a great story, and I wondered if you'd heard the story of how they took over a crack house to create the community that they have and everything.
I might not be familiar with it. We'll have to talk about that.
It's a really good Rich. I can't. His name's escaping me right now, and I feel bad. Somebody's going to text me and say, how'd you forget his name? His brother played football at the University of Florida, so I'll take, live radio, and I just had a 55.
Well, it's probably good.
55.
Especially if I don't know about that, I can educate myself before you ask me.
I'm seeing these senior moments happen more and more. Although I did get to take advantage of a senior discount the other day, so that's a good thing.
What was it? Restaurant?
Golden Corral. Mike, thanks so much for coming by, and once
Always
again offering transparency because you've been here for an hour. You took phone calls. You answered every question I had. We appreciate that kind of dedication from not only the chief of police but all the men and women that work for you as well. Work with you.
Yes, sir.
You just happen to be their boss, but they work with you. They don't work for you.
It's a big team, and I'm happy to be here, Tom. And we should be an open book to all of the citizens that we serve. So. I'm going to be candid as possible.
Well, we're going to start doing this once a month, and I'll have you back on next month.
Sounds good, Tom.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you and yours.
Same to you, and same to everybody else out there listening. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Thanks for listening, folks. We'll be back same time tomorrow right here on Ocala Talks, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is WOCA, The Source.